This is the stuff that dreams are made of. Thrills, chills, and spills that delight, amaze, and terrify. Immersive environments that challenge the senses and the imagination. It's time to strap yourself in, buckle up, and hold on for an eye-popping tour of extraordinary theme parks in Hong Kong and Tokyo. Asia's best fantasy lands. Japan is a driving force in high-tech innovation. So it comes as no surprise that Asian theme parks employ a sophisticated blend of ride technology, special effects, live entertainment, and pyrotechnics to create dazzling experiences. For North American visitors, these imaginative environments deliver an exciting combination of high-octane adventures and exotic cross-cultural discoveries. As we search for the ultimate theme park experiences, our journey will take us to the foothills of Mount Fuji, where we'll ride some of the highest and fastest extreme thrill rides in the world. At the richly detailed DisneySea, we'll experience some of the most complex live shows ever staged in a theme park. Traveling to the shores of the South China Sea, we'll discover the amazing environmental attractions of Ocean Park and the brand new feng shui-friendly Hong Kong Disneyland. And the ride begins in the immense and exciting metropolis of Tokyo, Japan. Home to over 8 million people, Tokyo is a city that defies simple translation. By day, its streets are often clogged with suited salarymen and bumper-to-bumper traffic. By night, a different world emerges in flashes of neon, jumbo video screens, and plugged-in Japanese youth. Tokyo is also a city of contrasts, where high technology quickly disappears, revealing an ancient spirit. Here in the Asakusa district, visitors shop for traditional wares in the streets leading to the Sensoji Shrine, a major Buddhist temple. Who could possibly imagine that just around the corner from the incense and the sacred fountain lies a collection of earthly thrills? Hanayashiki, Tokyo's oldest amusement park. Hanayashiki, which is Japanese for flower mansion, is a small compact park on a residential street. It's popular with locals and temple visitors as well.
Hanayashiki was built in 1853 at the end of the Edo period. At first it was a botanical garden, and then it became a zoo, and then in 1949, after World War II, it became an amusement park. Our most popular ride by far is our roller coaster, which is the oldest roller coaster in all of Japan.
With its vintage rides and nostalgic atmosphere, Hanayashiki seems like it's frozen in time.
People kept telling me about Hanayashiki. And since we have small children, we finally decided to come out for a visit. They've been on all kinds of rides. It's a really nice park for little kids.
But the teens head over to the west side of Tokyo for something a little more exciting. Yomiuri-land, a sprawling amusement and water park with a surprising amount of space. To get a great view of the park, take a ride on Daikanrasha, the giant gondola Ferris wheel.
Yomiuri-land was originally a golf course, and there are many hills. We're at the top of a ridge, so the roller coaster ride is very exciting in the way it travels down the hills and through the forest.
With its 200-foot lift hill, the hypercoaster Bandit is the park's most popular ride.
When we got on the ride, somebody was squirting us with water guns and we got drenched.
White Canyon is an American-style wooden coaster with lots of G-forces and rocking side-to-side motion. The strangest ride has to be Momanga, the standing and loop coaster. The ride has two different trains, one for sitting and the other for standing.
We tried the stand-up roller coaster. It was awesome. I felt like I was flying.
Just like North Americans, the Japanese are inexplicably attracted to extreme thrill rides that terrify them.
I enjoyed
Oh,
it.
it's scary.
Oh, it was fun. The elevator went up so fast, like boom, and we were scared before going up. But when we came down, it was like,
Yeah, we're gonna do it again.
we're totally gonna do it.
Yomiuriland also has the longest water slide in Japan, Giant Sky River. The water park is a great place to cool down, but our journey in search of Japan's hottest rides is just heating up. We're heading out of town to the scenic foothills of Mount Fuji. Here, a 2-hour ride from Tokyo, you'll find Fuji Q Highlands, an amusement park that's been called the Magic Mountain of Japan for its extreme thrills. The big draw here is Fujiyama, the king of coasters, which ranks among the tallest and fastest steel roller coasters in the world. With a height of 79 meters and a top speed of 130 kilometers per hour, it's one monster of a ride.
Fujiyama was in the Guinness Book of World Records for height and speed. There are several types of curves, such as camelback, boomerang, and surfing. Fujiyama is the ultimate roller coaster.
Fujiyama was so high. It takes forever to get to the top. I felt like my stomach was floating. That was so fast. It was really fun, but you almost cried, didn't you?
Yeah, I cried.
It makes people cry.
If you've got the guts, Dodonpa is the next place to test your courage. A former Guinness record holder for its incredible speed, Dodonpa is an unforgettable experience.
Dodonpa is totally different from Fujiyama. It goes from 0 to 172 kilometers an hour in the first 1.8 seconds. The riders climb 90 degrees, then it gives you about half a second to catch your breath before you drop 90 degrees straight down.
Dodonpa is different than a normal roller coaster. It starts suddenly and it gets up to high speed very quickly. It's scary and exciting.
Some rides, like Tondamina, work best before a big meal.
The ride started moving slowly at first, but then it started getting faster and faster and faster, and then it started revolving. And I opened my eyes and I couldn't even see the ground anymore. I just saw sky and I was so confused. I don't really remember what happened. It was too scary.
I felt as if my body was floating. When the ride was going down, I thought I was going to hit the ground and die.
With 33 rides, Fuji Q Highlands offers lots of choices in the thrill department, and the visitors come from far and wide.
If it's thrill rides you're looking for, Fuji Q is the place.
There aren't a lot of world-class thrill ride parks like Fuji Q in Asia, so we get visitors from Western countries like the United States. They think our park is as good as Six Flags or Cedar Point.
One thing they won't find back home is the Labyrinth of Terror, Fuji Q's enormous haunted house. At more than 600 meters long, it's listed by Guinness as the longest walk-through horror house in the world. Armed with only a flashlight, it takes visitors about 45 minutes to get through the 3-story building.
The setting is a hospital, which once had a secret and illegal business of selling human organs from their patients. Now it's closed down and the whole place is overrun with the former patients who have become zombies. They wander through the hospital and chase the visitors around.
I saw a morgue.
There's an operating room too. Everything is related to dead people.
We saw what we thought was a dead mannequin, but it got up and started chasing me.
Japanese people love scary stories, and they believe in ghosts. At the haunted house they get very scared, but they know they're safe. And the same thing applies to roller coasters. They're very scary and exciting, but they're also safe. That's why they're so popular with Japanese people.
While the amusement parks provide visceral entertainment, we're heading back to Tokyo for the imaginative and immersive worlds of Japan's biggest theme park complex, Tokyo Disney Resort. Coming up next. It's morning rush hour in Tokyo, one of the most densely populated cities in the world. A symphony in black and white. It's a city in desperate need of a fantasy land.
Tokyo is very gray and very crowded. The Japanese as a society are very regimented and are taught to walk the line and color inside the box. And we brought them something that was bright and colorful, and for one day they could go and be free and have fun and be a child again.
The immensely popular Tokyo Disney Resort is a massive entertainment destination located on Tokyo Bay. The resort is comprised of two major theme parks: Tokyo Disneyland, the largest of the Magic Kingdom parks, and Tokyo DisneySea, an entirely original creation for Japan. The Disney Resort Line monorail system links the two parks with a themed shopping, dining, and entertainment complex called Ikspiari. As well, there are a variety of hotels serving the resort, including the extraordinary Hotel Miracosta, which is located inside DisneySea itself. Opening in 1983, Tokyo Disneyland was created in partnership with Japan's Oriental Land Company. The first Disney park to be built outside the U.S., it was an immediate hit with the Japanese.
Once we went ahead and established ourselves in Japan, the floodgates just opened, and people have never stopped coming for the last 20 years, and it still ranks as continuously #1 in the world as far as attendance.
In 1983, there were no theme parks like Disneyland, only amusement parks. By having the guests go into a world with harmonious themes, their experiences are enriched.
I think the thing that sets our product apart, the Disney product, is that it's overlaid with such great storytelling and environmental richness that people want to come to this park and experience something that they don't get anywhere else, and they can leave their lifestyle at home and come and get lost into this immersive experience at a Disney park.
The layout of Tokyo Disneyland is similar to its cousins in Anaheim and Orlando. 7 themed areas arranged around a central plaza, with Cinderella Castle's center stage. But there have been a few adjustments. Guests enter the park through World Bazaar, the nostalgic town usually called Main Street. But the area has a protective canopy to cope with Tokyo's rainy winters and blazing summers.
Walt thought of the theme park as like a grand theatrical experience, and you're creating a lobby that you walk into and then you move into the experience. So that initial setup became very important. So covering it, which we did in Japan, we created a large glass atrium over it, helped control the weather, and immediately when guests walked in, there's a sense of comfort. And then that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day.
In Adventureland, attractions like the Jungle Cruise are familiar, but have a distinctly Japanese flavor.
The guide was very funny, making jokes about the elephants, rushing the boat and stuff like that. The ride was about 10 minutes, but it seemed like it was over in like the blink of an eye.
It was actually the Japanese that had the vision and the foresight to understand that Disney as a product is universal, international. Our product is based on stories and about human emotions, and our theme parks are an extension of what Walt did in the movies. So they understood that, you know, all those things that worked in the Disney movies are also what makes the theme park work, and knew that it would be something that could translate into any language or any culture.
The universal language of story and emotion draws visitors back to Tokyo Disneyland again and again.
Yes, I come to the park all the time because there's so many attractions and each one is really unique. I couldn't possibly cover the park in a whole day, so I keep coming back. There's always new things to explore.
Yeah, I come here every year. It's always something new to discover here. Not just for kids either, even adults feel happy here.
Tokyo Disneyland is a place where many Japanese experience the sights and sounds of Western popular culture for the first time.
We come from Yokohama and have never been to the United States, but Disneyland has given us a pretty good idea of what it was like in the Wild West.
The desire from the very start was to keep it as American as possible. Even to this day, all the signage, all the nomenclature in the park is in English first, Japanese second.
Actually, I think Tokyo Disneyland probably has been one of the primary vehicles that let the American culture kind of come into the Japanese culture in a way that they feel comfortable and embrace it.
It was more entertaining than scary. In the traditional Japanese haunted mansions, people wear white kimonos and put on scary makeup. But this one, our child got pretty excited and happy when he saw a ghost. And he even waved goodbye to the ghost. It's not like a Japanese ghost. It's more like an American ghost.
Overall, it's had a huge effect on infusing American culture into the Japanese culture.
Many of the guests have become familiar with the Disney characters through popular movies like Toy Story.
This is my 10th visit to Disneyland. I know the character Buzz Lightyear from the movies. What happens in the ride is you shoot aliens, rack up your points, and compete with each other.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse are superstars here, and the mouse ears are popular fashion accessories with the Japanese guests.
I think the key thing about Disney-style entertainment that really evoked the passion of the Japanese is the family orientation as well as the cute factor. I mean, you don't get anything cuter than Mickey and Minnie.
Disney characters like Mickey and Minnie are very strong characters. Their charm is passed down from adult to child, from generation to generation. They have a family warmth to them and a universal appeal.
All of these themes come together in Rock Around the Mouse, where Mickey and a host of characters drive up to Big D's Diner for a 50s-style dance party.
The Japanese love American music, the 1950s in particular.
So much of the music of the 50s in the United States kind of evokes freedom, a fun, a style of dress. All of that, I think, lends itself so much to the Japanese culture.
Tokyo Disneyland provides theme park experiences that are both familiar and exotic to North Americans. There are the lines and the heat, people get hungry, and they get pretty tired too.
Any of the guests that would come to Tokyo Disney Resort from North America would find, I think, a bicultural experience. One is embracing the Disney factor of everything, but then is also providing these guests with this Japanese experience.
Regardless of culture, there are some things that never change.
Yes, we still have the Enchanted Tiki Room there in Tokyo. I think that attraction speaks to Walt's understanding of entertainment and the things that people react to. So basing our attractions on stories is what makes them universal, and that's why I think they'll still work.
Next, the astonishing spectacles of Tokyo DisneySea. When Tokyo Disney Resort opened a new theme park in 2001, they created an entirely new type of experience. Something very different from Disneyland, yet something that complemented and extended the Disney concept of fantasy-based entertainment. That something is Tokyo DisneySea.
It's based on stories and the romance and the myths of the seas. And we've created ports of calls based both on real worlds and on imaginary worlds.
Tokyo Disneyland provides guests with dreams, magic, and fantasy. Tokyo DisneySea is more about adventure, romance, and imagination. We like to encourage guests to experience both parks during the day and at night because they have very different faces.
Tokyo DisneySea, in fact, is a unique, one-of-a-kind park. Most of the attractions there have never been tried before in any of our other theme parks, and really stands alone in storytelling, environment, and ride experience as a completely unique experience to any of our Disney parks.
Upon entering the park, guests encounter the Aquasphere, a globe-shaped sculpture with dynamic cascades of water that mysteriously cling to its surface. The first themed area of DisneySea is Mediterranean Harbor, which offers the old-world charm of a romantic southern European seaport. The area features a detailed recreation of Venice, Italy, complete with canals and gondolas. The resort's Hotel Miracosta is an integral part of Mediterranean Harbor and an attraction in itself, with medieval Italian design and ultra-romantic accommodations. The hotel offers breathtaking views at DisneySea and allows guests to live the dream by staying overnight in the park's adventure-filled world. The large lagoon provides a stage for DisneySea's spectacular live performances. Before a show, visitors receive extensive training in the hand signals and vocalizations that accompany certain parts of the performance. Young and old, everyone takes part in cheering on the heroes or jeering at the villains.
I think compared to the guests in the States, Japan responds with more enthusiasm. There's a lot more guest participation in the shows here compared to the States. Not only kids, but adults enjoy participating a lot more. So they're able to enjoy the dream of the show much more.
Koji Uno created the special event production Aladdin's Whole New World.
It depicts the story of Aladdin with a twist of DisneySea elements attached to it. It's a live entertainment show held during the daytime, and it combines marine sports show elements such as acrobats and powerboats.
After several battles with the nemesis Jafar, cheerleaders come out to help the audience root for Aladdin. And in the end, Aladdin is victorious. Then a massive crane elevates Aladdin and Jasmine for a climactic magic carpet ride. Mediterranean Harbor is just one of 7 themed areas. American Waterfront is a slice of nostalgia, showcasing the harbors of New York and Cape Cod at the beginning of the 20th century.
Along the waterfront, strolling by the sea, just my girl and me.
Period vehicles and an electric railway carry guests to Broadway-style theatrical productions and a magnificent ocean liner, the SS Columbia, which hosts its own song and dance review. The electric railway continues on to Port Discovery, a futuristic celebration of new frontiers in the sea and sky. In the Aquatopia attraction, guests embark on a wild ride through fountains, rocks, and whirlpools. Deep within the smoldering volcano of Mysterious Island, the fantastic stories and characters of Jules Verne come alive. In 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, visitors embark on Captain Nemo's submarines for an underwater voyage of discovery.
Included in Mysterious Island, we have probably one of the most ambitious attractions we've ever designed. It's called Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's a unique combination of classic Disney kind of dark ride storytelling where we take you through various storytelling scenes. But it also has a quite a surprise at the end. We launch you up at about 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour to the top of the volcano, then drop you 60 feet down in the volcano.
When we return, the outrageous twists and turns of Raging Spirits, plus Brevissimo, the exciting conclusion of our visit to Tokyo DisneySea. Tokyo DisneySea is a one-of-a-kind theme park that weaves adventure, romance, and imagination into unforgettable experiences. Many themed areas are fashioned after Disney movies and characters, such as Aladdin, whose domain is the Arabian coast. Like the rest of DisneySea, it is rich in color and texture.
There's a heightened level of detail there, and that was basically the intent of this park, where we're trying to go for this very hyper-realism kind of look. It is detailed so exquisitely for each land, you think you're actually walking through some of those areas in the world.
I think the Japanese, in some ways, have a much deeper appreciation for a lot of the things we do, the level of detailing, the level of storytelling. They're very demanding. They want to know a level of information that I think in some cases the guests at other parts of the world don't want to be concerned with. So I think we have a very appreciative audience there.
To some degree, I think they demanded it from us. I mean, the Japanese clientele are exquisite and demand the detail, demand that experience, and really push us as Imagineers to put our best foot forward every time we put something new out there.
Mermaid's Lagoon is a themed area based on characters and stories from The Little Mermaid. Young children can explore an interior fantasy world called Triton's Kingdom.
It is our largest indoor theatrically controlled space, basically a giant playground for kids that features a variety of small rides, shows, interactive attractions, food and merchandise, all themed like you are under the sea.
They've done it really well. It's when you go inside, it's just like being underwater, I guess, and yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice. There's a play area in there, as well as a few rides. The closer you get, the more colour you see, and that attention to detail is there, definitely.
With its muted colors and Indiana Jones ambience, visitors confront ancient perils and hidden mysteries in the Lost River Delta. By and large, the attractions and themed environments of DisneySea have been designed to appeal to an older audience.
Well, at Disneyland, you're more like a little kid running all over the place. But at DisneySea, you have to be a little more composed and you enjoy the environment more. There's food and drinks more for adults, and at DisneySea you can drink alcohol. That makes a big difference.
For some couples, DisneySea is a great place for a date.
We came here on our first date wearing yukatas, our summer kimonos. Now we come back every year wearing the same yukatas in memory of our first date. We've been to Disneyland over 30 times and to DisneySea 20 times. We stay for the whole day.
Today, they've ridden Raging Spirits, DisneySea's latest attraction.
The mist and smoke of this ride are really cool. It's quite fast and exciting.
I was really scared.
High-speed hopper cars are propelled around an archaeological excavation site, passing by vengeful statues and through sudden bursts of water and flame. A 360-degree loop is soon followed by a hair-raising plunge into a steam-filled sinkhole.
It's really great. It's got spins, twists, and turns, and it goes really fast.
As evening descends, crowds gather in Mediterranean Harbor for a nighttime spectacular called Brevissimo. The show begins when Mickey Mouse arrives in a large shell-shaped boat. Then a fantasy world of water and fire unfolds.
I worked for a long time with the water. and also with the fire effects, fireworks, flames, and so on. And I was dreaming for a long time to put together these elements not only as effects, but as characters.
Bravissimo is a show about the masculine fire god Prometeo and Bellisea, an elegant water spirit, and the love story that develops between the two. It's a water-based show, and we use pyrotechnics as well as big fountains that come up from beneath the water. We use multiple special effects to entertain the audience.
Bellisea's voice enchants and rings out across the water. Then the volcano erupts as geysers of flame shoot out. Prometeo rises and spreads his 3 giant wings. Then the two spirits realize their attraction to each other and are transformed.
Bravissimo is a love story at best. It is about 2 individuals that normally would never meet and get together. And by the end of the show, they have overcome their difficulties and they are in harmony with each other. The amazing thing is just the beauty and the majesty of it. It has an elegance and it has a lyricism that is unique to this style of production.
Next, we head south to Hong Kong for an eye-popping visit to more incredible fantasy lands. Our search for the ultimate Asian theme park experiences has taken us on adrenaline-charged roller coasters in the foothills of Mount Fuji, through a zombie-infested house of horrors, and to the extraordinary immersive attractions of Tokyo Disney Resort. Now we travel south to Hong Kong, a city that is truly a fantasy land in itself. It is a place of dramatic contrasts, like an action movie where the past is somehow melted into the present. In some places, life moves at incredible speeds, but elsewhere there is the mysticism of the ages. It's an intersection where East meets West, and where the primitive collides with the high-tech. In a city where shopping reigns supreme, the people of Hong Kong know all about theming. There's a market just for flowers, a market for birds, and a market for goldfish. This theming of nature carries over into a Hong Kong original, Ocean Park, one of the world's premier marine and animal theme parks. Attracting over 3 million visitors a year, it's been popular since it first opened in 1977.
Really began as a public trust, something that the Community of Hong Kong wanted to give to the people of Hong Kong for education, for entertainment, and messages of conservation. And it evolved into what today really could be considered a full-fledged themed experience based around marine life, based around marine animals.
There are 2 sections to the park, the headland and the lowland.
I like the way that it's up on different levels. It keeps you moving through the park. I think they've done it very well.
Visitors enter the park through the lowlands, where there is a kids' play area. There are several nature exhibits, including the giant panda habitat. In the simulator theater, viewers are taken on a wild virtual ride throughout the park. Many of the top attractions are up on the headlands, and getting there is an experience in itself.
Taking our cable car ride, it's basically a 1 kilometer ride, and you have these incredible views of the South China Sea, and on clear days you can see forever. And you have this beautiful green mountain around you as you're traversing the area, and then once you get to the headlands, it opens up in this expansive view of the ocean. And up in the headlands area is where most of our more kinetic rides are, the high energy rides are.
The Headlands is home to the Dragon Coaster, a Hong Kong legend.
It's a vertical looping corkscrew coaster, which gives you this view, a panoramic view of the entire ocean, because it's really over the edge of the cliff. And I think it probably adds to the thrill when you're up there. You get the chance of riding this ride, but you're not sure where the ground is or isn't as you're going around the ride.
Like the coaster, thrill rides like the Abyss Turbo Drop are made all the more frightening by their proximity to the edge of a cliff that drops off into the ocean far below. But the thrill rides are only part of the story. Visitors come from far and wide to experience Ocean Park's extraordinary marine shows and exhibits. In the Shark Aquarium, visitors go eye to eye with over 35 different species of sharks and rays.
I'm particularly interested in the grey nurse shark because it's one of our threatened species off Australia. Yeah, I think anything to educate people about environment and wildlife is well worth it. The goldfish was just unbelievable. I had some preconceptions about goldfish before I saw that, and I must have been moved. I probably hadn't been exposed to 1/20th of the species, and just saw some amazing looking fish, you know. We've had a ball, well worth it.
The spectacular Atoll Reef Aquarium is one of the park's most popular attractions.
When I first saw it, I thought this is a spectacular aquarium because it's multi-level, and you literally are going from the most shallow portion of a reef to the lowest portion of a reef environment. And so you actually see the very shallow fish all the way down to the deep water fish that might exist in those environments. I think we have up to 3,000 fish varieties around the park, and we've got some tremendous fish in there. We've got a Napoleon wrasse. They are an endangered species. We have the largest collection of Napoleon wrasse in captivity.
Well, I was impressed. It's just like you're under the sea. Well, I think it's very educational for them to visit the ocean park, for them to see different kinds of sea creatures. Yeah, very educational, not only for the kids, but also for adults as well. Ocean Park here in Hong Kong, I think one of the best here in Asia. Nice place.
There are many guests that come here, especially from mainland China, who have probably never had contact with or seen the ocean before. So what we're seeing is these great looks of wonderment and surprise, and I think it's learning that you're watching actually take place right in front of you.
While Ocean Park has been the only theme park in Hong Kong, things have changed with the opening of Hong Kong Disneyland on neighboring Lantau Island. But Ocean Park is responding to the challenge with a visionary plan for the future, adding new nature-themed zones that evolve from polar to mountain to rainforest to marine. There will be new species of animals, new rides, attractions, and shows, and new experiences throughout the park. But in the here and now, there are still lots of reasons to come to Ocean Park.
It's a must-see. On any itinerary, it's a must-see. And I think we hear that term over and over and over again. Whether you're from North America, whether you're from any part of the world, it is something you have to see. If you're not even a theme park enthusiast and you love animals, there's a reason to be here. If you like rides, there's a reason to be here. If you like events, there's a reason to be here. But there's always something for everybody within the mix of what we offer.
Next, the mouse goes feng shui at the much-anticipated Hong Kong Disneyland. Hong Kong is a city of dreams, and the perfect host for Disney's latest world of fantasy, Hong Kong Disneyland Resort. Located on picturesque Lantau Island, the resort includes a theme park, recreation center, and 2 hotels that offer breathtaking views. The lavishly designed resort is accessible through Hong Kong's ultra-efficient rapid transit system. Joining the family of Disney resorts in the US, Japan, and France, Hong Kong Disneyland is Disney's first theme park in China.
Disneyland really transcends borders and it transcends nationalities, and I think it always gets back to Disney is about fantasy and it's about imagination and dreaming. And Walt Disney brought classic fairy tales from Europe and adventure stories from Africa and India. And now, of course, we even have stories take place in outer space like Buzz Lightyear. So it's all about taking people to special places that are out of the ordinary.
Hong Kong Disneyland opened in September 2005 with 4 themed areas: Main Street USA, Adventureland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. An ancient Chinese philosophy of nature influenced the design of the park. To ensure good fortune, Disney's Imagineers consulted a feng shui master to provide the proper balance of positive and negative qi, or life energy.
We incorporated a lot of feng shui into the design of the park and also the resort in general. There are mostly a lot of things that are unseen to the eye, the way that the park is oriented relative to north and relative to the mountains and the harbor. But I think the heavy use of water that you see throughout the resort, the waterfalls and fountains and streams and lakes, is an important feng shui element. We threw in a little bit of lucky red. In fact, you might see some of it behind me here on Main Street. Small things like that, the locations of doorways, the locations of some key trees and planters.
Hong Kong is renowned as one of the culinary capitals of the world. And keeping that tradition, Hong Kong Disneyland is the first Disneyland park with a Chinese restaurant. Attracting visitors from Hong Kong, mainland China, and the rest of the world presented a multilingual challenge to the Disney team. How could they run the Jungle Cruise, which is so dependent on language for its humor?
Here at Hong Kong Disneyland, we will deliver the attraction in 3 different languages. You'll be able to line up in 3 separate queues to get the attraction performed in either Cantonese, Putonghua, or English. And the jokes are different as you go from language to language, because the way they will turn a phrase is different in each language.
The futuristic character of Hong Kong also forced the Disney Imagineers to put on their thinking caps when designing Tomorrowland.
In the United States, we think of Tomorrowland and we think of these futuristic gleaming cities with glass and steel and air-conditioned elevated walkways and moving sidewalks. That doesn't really exist in North America, or at least from a Western standpoint. But when we came here to Hong Kong, the city of Hong Kong was like Tomorrowland to us from a Western point of view. So we had to rethink how we were going to do Tomorrowland, how we were going to do the architecture and even the storytelling behind it, which now really takes place more in outer space than it does on Earth. So we put it into outer space, and our Tomorrowland takes place on a planet in a galaxy somewhere far away, and it's all very much about space travel and exploration.
Even Space Mountain, one of Disneyland's signature rides, has been upgraded for Hong Kong with new high-tech features.
On Space Mountain, we have onboard audio that's completely synchronized to the ride experience. The music was composed by the composer of The Incredibles. So we'd like to make it just a little bit better every time we go to another location.
Hong Kong Disney Resort is the first true family destination of its kind in the region. The resort's flagship is the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel, featuring opulent Victorian-style architecture. The 6-story hotel features 2 restaurants, a lounge and tea salon, a convention center, spa, swimming pools, tennis courts, and a Mickey Mouse-inspired garden maze. Designed in the streamlined modern style, Disney's Hollywood Hotel was created as a tribute to the golden age of show business. The 8-story hotel includes 2 restaurants and a stylish lounge. Outside, there's a piano-themed swimming pool and a garden courtyard designed as a miniature map of Hollywood, California. Visitors can also explore the nature trails and facilities of the Inspiration Lake Recreation Center, which features Hong Kong's largest artificial lake. With acres of room to grow, Hong Kong Disneyland is just beginning to realize its potential.
Walt Disney used to say that Disneyland will never be completed as long as there's imagination left in the world, and that's true for all of the Disney parks, and it will certainly be true for Hong Kong Disneyland, where we have enough land here and enough space and enough ideas to essentially double the size of the park. We already have a lot of really great ideas in the planning stages now. Like 21st century magicians,
theme park designers have learned to combine art, storytelling, architecture, special effects, and technology in ways that dazzle and amaze. These are the places where adrenaline takes over from reason, where shock, surprise, and delight come together. The brave new worlds where imagination reigns supreme. These are Asia's best fantasy lands.